conversation. So we've been discussing whether or not Priscilla should be buried at Graceland. Does she want to be buried next to Elvis? Or does she want to be buried with her beautiful daughter Lisa Marie and her grandson Benjamin? Yeah? What are the reasons? Why does Priscilla want to be buried at the meditation garden at Graceland? What is the true reason? The fans believe that she wants to be buried in the meditation garden next to Elvis, if possible, so that she would be remembered forever. Hi, Angie. Seriously, the fans believe that Priscilla wants to be buried in the meditation garden so that she will be remembered forever. Hi, Stacey. We're carrying on the discussion. Now, a normal person, Mr. Average, you and me, we would want to be buried next to our kids. All of us, I think, will accept that. Kids, grandkids, parents, we all would. But this is extraordinary circumstances. Priscilla Presley was briefly married to Elvis. Now, I know that Priscilla Presley tries to say that her and Elvis were together for 15 years. Now, I watched a Loose Woman interview in the UK 10 years ago, Loose Women. Do any of you know that? It's a British interviewing program. I'm going to review it actually, because I only watched a few minutes. I'm going to review the full version of Loose Women, where Priscilla is interviewed. She's asked some quite important questions. Questions that people don't normally ask her, in fact. So I will be reviewing that, but one of the things that she replies is, oh, me and Elvis were together for 15 years. Priscilla actually says that. Me and Elvis were together for 15 years. Now, where does she get that date from? She calculates it, bearing in mind they were officially split up, really 72, wasn't it? You know, I know it's 73, but 72, they're all over, yeah? So you work it out. If they met in 1959, so let's round that off to 1960, and they split up in 72, 73, Priscilla is basically saying, from the moment I met Elvis, I was with him. You get it, guys? Let's look at that. Let's discuss that. Priscilla is saying, from the moment I met Elvis in 1959 in Bad Nauheim, we were officially together till the day we split up. Now, we know that's bullshit. We know it's bullshit. Elvis was seeing other women in Germany. I could even get you their names. I just don't have them with me. I think one of them was called Stefan. But, right, Ella's behind me. Now think about it, guys. Who does that? Who says that they were with their partner from the moment they met? It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. But in this particular instance, it's even more complicated, because Elvis was approaching the last 6 months of his military service in Germany, in Bad Nauheim. Remember that Priscilla didn't live in Bad Nauheim. She lived in a different part of Germany, yeah? Don't forget, there's a story that Priscilla knew that she was going to be stationed near Elvis and had pre-planned to find Elvis and trap him. That's in Child Bride in the book. But let's think about it a bit more, guys. So Priscilla says in the Loose Women interview, hi Tar. Priscilla says in the Loose Women interview that she was with Elvis for 15 years. Let's say what really happened for entertainment purposes. Alleged, not a fact, just an opinion. Elvis briefly meets Priscilla. No sex, no relationship. She's very beautiful, she's very young. She's only 14. Now, Priscilla tries to say that it was a chance meeting, that a guy called Cary Grant introduced himself to her in a cafe of some sort. Do you like Elvis Presley? He says to her. She says, yeah, everyone does. Oh, I know him. Do you want to come and meet him? And then she says, oh, well, you know, I'll have to ask my parents. Yeah? Now, I have found more than one interview that says, I'm pretty sure it was Joe Esposito and Marty Lacker, 2 different interviews, where they both say that Cary Grant had met Priscilla, had met her, was friends with her, and he approached Elvis and said, I know a girl, a very pretty girl, would you like to meet her? That means that Priscilla may have premeditated the meeting of Elvis, pre-planned it, that it may not have been a chance meeting. It may have been something that Cary Grant and Priscilla had pre-planned, allegedly, for entertainment purposes. Do you get what I'm saying, guys? So you work it out. Priscilla is saying in an interview in 2015 that she was with Elvis for 15 years. She's assuming that we are believing that from the moment they met, they were a couple. They were a romantic couple. Now, don't forget, Priscilla is used to the fact that anything she says is believed. Priscilla is used to the fact that wherever she is interviewed, anywhere on the planet, they believe every word she says. She could literally say, the sky is pink, and they would believe her. That is how ridiculous it is when it comes to Priscilla Presley. She knows that no one is going to disagree with her. She knows she can make up her own story, her own storyline, and no one will say, I don't believe you. In fact, she can even say what questions that these interviewers are allowed to ask. So she sat in this interview. Yeah? So funny. So she sat in this interview, okay, guys? With Loose Women, the UK chat show, which is very popular in the UK, yeah? Oh yes, I was with Elvis for 15 years. I'm not making this up, guys. I watched this yesterday, yeah? Now think about it. She meets him in 1959. They briefly were friends for maximum 6 months. Elvis had other girlfriends. I would say Elvis only saw her now and then. No one really knows what went on between Elvis and Priscilla. No one else was with them in that room. In the upstairs room of the house, yeah? So, as far as we're concerned, Elvis was a very religious man, believed in treating women decent, and when Priscilla was being a bit fruity with him, Elvis was like, there's no way I'm touching you, you're too young. Elvis made it very clear, there's no way I'm touching you, you're too young. And she's also put that in her book, okay? Her book, Elvis and Me. She's also said it in many interviews. Priscilla, in many interviews, has said, me and Elvis didn't have sex until I was 21 on the night of the wedding, which is, we know is bullshit, because they were having sex when she was 18, okay? So she's a good liar. In my opinion, for entertainment purposes, Priscilla's a good liar. She can lie for 30, 40 years, telling the world that her and Elvis never had sex until she was 21, and that she lost her virginity to Elvis when she was 21, when we know it's just not true. It's very likely that Priscilla was not a virgin when they met. We've heard the stories. There's things in the book Child Bride, boyfriends that she had when she was much younger. It's very likely that she was not a virgin, but that's only an opinion for entertainment purposes. So work it out. She says, I'm with Elvis for 15 years. Well, Elvis, we've proved that she visited a couple of times when she was 17, yeah? Which was 2 years after they met. Elvis didn't see Priscilla for at least 2 years. We've worked out it's 2 years and 3 months. Yeah, with the help of Carolyn. 2 years and 3 months. Okay, guys? So we can knock off the 15-year figure. Let's keep in mind the 15-year figure. We can knock off 2 years and 3 months. So that brings it down to 12 years and 9 months. Yeah, we've already done that. Don't forget, she said, I was with Elvis for 15 years. Now remember, Elvis was still seeing Anita Wood in 1961 and 1962. So I would say, straight away, those 2 years don't count. Yeah? We also know that Elvis was living as a single man even when Priscilla was visiting Gracelands. He was seeing other people, seeing co-stars, eventually possibly seeing Margaret in 63. So to me, Priscilla was not seeing Elvis in 1961, 1961, 2 or 3, because Elvis lived as a single man. Eventually, Priscilla moves in with Vernon and Dee in the house behind Gracelands, yeah? We know that she probably wasn't living there, was she? We know that, don't we, guys? She was probably with Elvis. So I would say that they could have been boyfriend, girlfriend from around 1963. Then Elvis is still living as a single man until they get engaged in December 1966. Yeah? Even then, Elvis is still living as a single man, but Priscilla would have classed herself as being Elvis's girlfriend. You know, we've seen all the pictures and videos. I think they did have some happy times, guys. I really do. I also think Elvis was probably being unfaithful, which must have been quite heartbreaking for Priscilla. Let's be fair. In 1963, 4, 5, it must have been tough for Priscilla. I have to give her that. Elvis didn't want to settle down, didn't want to get married. He obviously liked Priscilla, otherwise he wouldn't have let her move in. Come on, guys, let's be honest with that. He wouldn't have let Priscilla move in if he didn't like her. He must have liked her. She was a beautiful girl. So let's break down the marriage. So then they get engaged in 66, December. They get married May the 1st, 67. A year later, they've already got a small baby, 2-3 months old, and Priscilla is unfaithful. We all know this, we've said it 100 times. Steve Peck, the dance instructor, she's admitted it in page 262 of her book, and she calls him Mark. So this is the point I'm getting at, guys. If the marriage was all over by the time she has her affair with Steve Peck, the dance instructor, in a couple of months after the birth of Lisa Marie, a year after the wedding, around a year after the wedding, then they have a fake marriage. She has her affair around 1971, 1972 with Mike Stone, the karate champion. Yeah? Work it out, guys. Then add up the years. Then re-look at this 15-year figure. Re-look at the 15-year figure. Suddenly the 15-year figure becomes 1 year of marriage from May the 1st, 1967. Then they have a fake marriage, let's say for 2 years. So they got 3 years of marriage. And then she's out the door having, bonking Mike Stone, the karate champion, a world famous karate champion. So I would say they had 3 years of marriage and, let me work it out, maximum 3 years of a boyfriend-girlfriend. So that's what I think of the 15-year figure. The 15-year figure is ridiculous. But Priscilla will sit on Loose Women, the British TV program, and say to them, I was with Elvis for 15 years. Oh, and I moved over to Graceland when I was 15 or 16. Do you get it? Everything I say is alleged. Sorry, guys. Everything I say is alleged for entertainment purposes, not a fact. just an opinion. Now, I don't think she said she was 15 when she moved over on the Loose Women, the UK Loose Women show. She said it on other shows much earlier, you know, in the 80s. Priscilla has always given the impression that she was 15 when she moved over to Graceland, when the truth is she was nearly 18, yeah? So remember, I've just mentioned to you that she's always given the impression that she was a virgin on the night of the wedding, and that was when they had sex when she was nearly 21. Well, we know that they had sex age 18 because Lisa Marie, her daughter, put it in the book, and she would know, wouldn't she? The book From Here to the Great Unknown. Elvis was also seeing Bonnie Buckley from 1960 to 63 until she finished the relationship because Priscilla was moving in. Okay. As I said, Elvis lived as a single man. But that, you know, really that's in favor of Priscilla, because that would have been cruel. Let's face it, guys. A lot of you that watch my channel are female. If any of you were seeing Elvis and he was secretly seeing other girls through 1961 to, through 1962 and 3, don't forget, she didn't move over till 63, did she? I think there's a chance she visited at the end of 62. So come on, guys. When Elvis was seeing other women living as a single man, that was hard for Priscilla. We have to give her that. To be fair, we have to give her that. I know that she knew what she was getting into. She knew she was moving in with a rock star, a rock and roll star, a beautiful man, that all the women were falling at his feet. And I know that many say that because she knew what she was getting into, it's her fault, but it was tough. That would have been difficult. I think Elvis was seeing quite a few different women in 61, 2, 3, 4, 5, right up to the engagement. Honestly, guys, I do think, this is just my opinion, I do think that Elvis calmed down once they got engaged. I do. And the reason I think that, because I always try to back things up. Let's get the dog. Because I always try and back things up when I say things. The reason I think it is because I saw Marty Lacker and Joe Esposito both say that Elvis calmed down a bit. He calmed down a bit when he got at least married, maybe engaged, but definitely when Elvis got married, there was a period of calm. There was a period of do you know what, I'm going to change. I'm going to be faithful. When Lisa Marie was born, Elvis did really try to change and be a decent Christian man and stick with his vows when Lisa Marie, because Elvis took it so seriously when Lisa was born. Yeah, it really meant the world to him. It was massive. Elvis having Lisa Marie was world-changing, life-changing. Nothing mattered more to him. He couldn't wait to get back to her. When Elvis would go off on the movie sets, he couldn't wait to get back to Priscilla and Lisa. This is what makes it so heartbreaking that Priscilla was seeing Steve Peck, the dance instructor, when Lisa Marie was only three months old. Yeah, just a baby in nappies. So Elvis you can imagine Elvis being really excited to get back to see Priscilla, because he was working really hard with these, doing 2-3 movies a year sometimes. But secretly, she was seeing Steve Peck, the dance instructor. This is so sad. This is just so sad that I can imagine when Elvis going back to their beautiful home, because I guarantee you where they were living was beautiful. They did move to different houses, didn't they? And secretly, she's seeing the dance instructor. And this was happening when Lisa Marie was just a baby. It's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. The thing that I wonder about is, how did Elvis find out? I've never been told 100% how Elvis found out about the affair, about Steve Peck, the dance instructor. Honestly, I don't. But from the research I've done, it didn't split them up. It didn't split them up. When Elvis eventually finds out, Elvis tries to give it a go with the marriage. So when she married Elvis, she knew she was getting into it. Takes a lot of grace to stand aside with a famous mate. But yeah, but Chicky Blue, I just don't accept that. I don't accept her knowing what she was getting into, making it okay that Elvis was secretly seeing other women. I don't think that's okay. If a man is your boyfriend, he should be faithful. Yeah? Knowing what you're getting into doesn't make it okay. It's one of the most common things I hear, Chicky Blue. It isn't okay to be unfaithful. It is not okay to be unfaithful. But remember, she is unfaithful as well. This is what changes things. Priscilla is also unfaithful, and that is the mistake. So the thing I'm trying to say, guys, is there's a period when Elvis finds out about that she's seeing the dance guy, the dance instructor, Steve Peck. I think he also owned a dance studio as well. I think from the research I've done, I'm no expert, I'm just a fan, but I think Elvis tried to sort things out. I think Elvis tried to change. And this is why they went on trips. They would go and see Frank Sinatra, not Frank Sinatra, they would go and see Tom Jones. They would go and see Muhammad Ali. They went to some karate tournaments. They went to the JC Awards. So they did Priscilla and Elvis for a couple of years, I think 68, 69, 70, 71, early 71, I think, were carrying on as if everything was okay. This is why you see the lovely footage of Elvis and Priscilla. There's a lot of pictures and footage of Elvis and Priscilla looking very happy. And I think they're living a fake marriage. They're literally trying to make things work. But the truth is, they're both being unfaithful. Remember Susan Henning. Susan Henning is a great example. They're both being unfaithful. She evened it out in her head by cheating, yeah. No, you're right, Chicky Blue. She messed up as well because they were both cheating. It's very selfish to leave your new baby to carry on with another man. Yeah, very. You couldn't do anything worse, could you? Couldn't do it, Karen. You couldn't do anything worse than that. That's as bad as it gets. What I'm saying is that they were both misbehaving. But I'm also saying that Elvis was away making